Hi there and welcome to my channel. Today's project is for the Vicki design team, and I'm actually gonna show you a layout that came together. I had 45 minutes of footage all together, so pretty quick. And the key was using the pre-made mixed media backgrounds for this. And I have these two pictures of, these are my goddaughters, they're also my little cousins. So we just sent them a package, like a care package from Canada. They're in Ecuador, and we actually bought them matching outfits. So this is their idea of modeling. So I have the pictures, and I just thought it was a nice idea. So I wanted to create a layout that was gonna make this photo stand out. So I went into the pre-made mixed media pad, and I found this like soft purple lavender tone, which is gonna make the blue that they're wearing like really pop. So that's gonna be the background for my page. Now I'm gonna add a little bit more of interest to this. So I went ahead and pulled the purple and violet art crayons. These are from the Cool Tones, and you're gonna see that I'm gonna scribble them on a piece of acetate, and I'm using my stencil brush just to collect the pigment, in this case the art crayon, and I'm gonna go in a circular motion on top of a stencil. This stencil here is one of Vicki's exclusives. So what I want to do is I want to create like a vertical design, and you're gonna see that I'm starting just adding the dry pigment, but it's not showing as crisp. So my choice, I'm gonna give it a blast of water just to activate the pigment. That's just gonna make it richer, so it's gonna show a little bit better. And my idea is I want to create something that it kind of moves and changes color as it goes from the top to the bottom of the page. So you're gonna see that I'm just gonna continue working with that violet tone of the art crayon, and I'm just not creating the full rectangle. I'm just going in certain areas. Like I said, think of it, I'm creating kind of a rhomboid on the center of my page. That's the best way that I can describe it. And like I said, I have the purple crayon and the violet. I started with just the violet, and then slowly I'm introducing some of the purple just so that I can create softly kind of an ombre effect of the stenciling on my paper. So you're gonna see that I'm just gonna shift the stencil every so often just to create that look that I'm looking for. I know that my picture is gonna be right on the center, so I'm not gonna go ahead and cover that area. I'm gonna leave that blank. Instead, I'm just going to be specific of where I'm at in my mixed media. Very simple mixed media, and you're gonna see that slowly I am deepening the color of the purple. So now I'm just using plain purple. Again, I'm just gonna scribble my art crayon on my piece of acetate and giving it like a little bit of water just to activate the pigment. Kind of dilutes it but makes it more vibrant. And then I'm gonna go in a circular motion on top of my stencil on my background to create the impression. At the last part of my stencil, I'm gonna add a little bit of blue just to deepen that purple, and you're gonna see how slowly you see the transformation of the stenciling look on my page. It's really light at the top and a little bit darker at the bottom, and it's not covering the entire page, just certain areas. That's all I wanted. So now I want to give it a little bit of shine and texture. For that, I am using iridescent glaze. I'm just gonna pull it a little bit, and I'm mixing whatever was left over of the purple on my matte with the iridescent glaze, but it's becoming gray. So my choice, I'm gonna add a little bit of blue art crayon here. That's just gonna give it more of a blue tone. I wish I could go into navy just because that's the color the girls are wearing. Instead, I'm just gonna go into like this, I'm gonna say it's kind of a periwinkle blue because I had that purple in there, and I'm okay with that. So I'm gonna mix the iridescent glaze with the art crayon. I am going to add water to dilute this mixture. I want it to be as a thick, the consistency of a thick acrylic paint, because I'm gonna use it to add splatters onto my background. But I want my splatters not to be just liquidy. I want them to have a little bit of texture, and you're gonna see the paint is the mixture or the paint, it has the consistency of acrylic, so it's kind of thick. That means that when I add my splatters, they are actually gonna form little bubbles. They're not gonna go flat. Usually when you add splatters, they just go flat on your paper. These ones are gonna stay a little bit round, and that's because it's a little bit thicker than just liquid. Like it's a little bit thicker than watercolor. That's what I meant to say, sorry. So they have texture. So when you're gonna see I'm applying them, they're not going flat. They're actually having this little roundness to each one of the splatters, kind of a little bubble, and that's what I wanted. So the key is to get the consistency of the iridescent to be, like I said, think of an acrylic paint. Now that I have the blue, I'm actually gonna do a little bit of gold. I'm using some of the gold paste. I'm just gonna dilute it with water. I want this one to be runny, and I'm just adding gold because the collection I'm using Color Study for this has a little bit of iridescent, like that kind of iridescent gold on it, like holographic gold. So I'm gonna add some gold onto my page. Now I'm gonna set that aside to dry, and while that is drying, I'm gonna work on the layers of paper, and this is gonna be super fun and very simple. First of all, I'm gonna use, don't ask me the names of the papers, I'm actually using my paper pad because I have pieces left over from previous projects. So I went and looked for a piece of navy paper to back both my photos. I want to make sure that I mat them on navy so that the color of their jumpsuits actually pops. So once I have that like, you know, I have matted my pictures, and all I did is just, I'm gonna say around 1/8 of an inch bigger than my photo on each side. That's gonna give him that perfect frame the photo. That's the best way to put it. I'm actually gonna add this piece of the purple with polka dots, and this is from the 6x8 paper pad. It just brings the colors that I have on the background. Then I went looking for something that will combine the purple with the teal, because I have that periwinkle in the background, and I found this one that has all those circles. It picked up the color that I have on the background. And then to finish, I'm gonna bring a little bit of pink, and this is the dots and dashes paper, just because I have that like bright pink. I'm actually gonna use some flowers that have the same tone. And then, like I said, that paper you see with the stripes is actually from the 6x8. Like I said, I had pieces of leftover papers that I'm using on this layout, and I just went to pick up colors that had pink and purples and blues because those are the colors that are on the photo and I want to enhance them. So once I have that, I'm just gonna go ahead and glue them right on the middle of my page. I want to make sure that they're right in the center, and then it's gonna be very simple decorating, because when you see my background, it's quite busy, so I want to make sure that I don't add much more. Instead, I want to keep it fairly simple. So I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna glue my layers of paper and the photos right on the center of my page, and I'm gonna actually create 2 large clusters of flowers on the sides of the photos right along that stripy paper. So I went into my ephemera pack, and I had these flowers. They're pink. That's what I picked up, the pink in paper on the background, and I'm just going, and I had those white ones, the same style of flower, but I needed something that, like, you know, more extra leaves. So I'm just, you know, I just went ahead and cut apart one of the ephemeras. Like I said before, is you can make the ephemera work for you. Don't think that you have to use the ephemera as is. Work it so it works in your project. Once I have that, I'm just gonna add a few stickers. Again, I'm gonna try to stay very thematic and mostly within the colors that I'm using. So you're gonna see that I added a few elements on the pictures, and then what I had a hard time creating was my title. So I decided to look into my leftover alphas, and I decided to put the word twins, even though the W is in red and it kind of bugs me. I don't mind it, but I wish there was another color of W that came in my pack. I only had red, and I think it was like this yellow, and that was really clashy. So I went with the red because it has a little bit of like green on the side, but that's the only color that I'm not loving about the layout. And then all I'm doing is just adding a few of the gold accents, just because I have that on the background. And the last touch is I'm gonna add my butterfly. I wanted something that was gonna break all that pink, so I went into the sticker tablet and I pull a black and white butterfly, and that's gonna go on the top right corner of my right picture. And that's about it. Like I said, this layout took 45 minutes to build from beginning to end, and I love how this turned out. Super simple, very colorful, and as always, you know, with a punch of color. So as always, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact me. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you soon.